Hola. Hoy vas a tomar apuntes sobre el tiempo condicional, or the conditional tense. We use the conditional to talk about things that we could do or things that we would do. And we use it a lot to talk about situaciones hipotéticas, or hypothetical situations. For example, me gustaría ir al parque. I would like to go to the park. Since I'm indicating that I would like to do this thing, I'm also indicating that maybe it's something I can't do for a certain reason. It's also used para hacer una pregunta con mucha cortesía, to ask a question very courteously. For example, in Spanish too, when you were discussing place settings and how to behave at a table in a different country, you might have been taught how to say, perdón, me pasaría, would you pass me? Also, con las cláusulas sí, with sí clauses. You note that this sí does not have an accent. Sí without an accent means if. We will be dealing with sí clauses another day in the very near future. You'll notice it is really easy to form the conditional. First off, for most verbs, with the exception of a handful of irregulars, no quites nada. You keep everything. You don't get rid of the AR. You don't get rid of the IR. You don't get rid of the ER. And you're going to add ia, ias, ia, iamos, iais, ian. Al final del infinitivo, at the end of the infinitive or unconjugated form of the verb. These endings are the same for all verbs, whether the verb is an AR verb, an ER verb, or an IR verb. So now, you have one example here, which is the verb ir, to go. Yo iría, tú irías, él, ella o usted iría, nosotros iríamos, vosotros iríais, ellos y ustedes irían. Be careful to make sure that you have the accents on the correct letter, the correct I, in each conjugation. Now, por favor, escoge dos verbos más, any verbs you'd like, en las cajas para practicar y vamos a repasar en clase. Once you're done conjugating two additional verbs of your choice, and note that most verbs will work. We are going to get to the irregulars later on, in just a moment here. Continue with the video. All right, so, ahora los verbos irregulares. Hay unos verbos con raíces, the root is the stem or first part of the verb, irregulares en el condicional. The biggest thing to remember is that even though these verbs have irregular stems, or the front part of the verb is irregular, they still use the same endings as all other verbs in the conditional. So if you can remember these irregular stems, you'll be in decent shape. For the verb haber, it's abre. Tener, tendre. Decir, dir. Saber, sabre. Caber, which means to fit, cabra. Salir, saldre. Hacer, ar. Poder, podre. Querer, quer, note the two R's. Poner, pondre. And venir, vendre. You might notice that a lot of these are what we would call the yo-go verbs in the regular present tense. So aquí tenemos un ejemplo, one example here. Yo querría, tú querrías, él, ella o usted querría, nosotros querríamos, vosotros querríais, and ellos or ustedes querrían. Finally, choose two more verbs from the list of irregular verbs that you should to conjugate in your notes. Once again, we'll review your answers in class. And once you've conjugated your two selected verbs, you're all set with tarea. Have a good night.